Right, all right. Welcome to another episode of Oso Lounge TV. I have all the way from the UK, my man Carvalho. I'm gonna let you go ahead and do your introduction, and then we'll just go ahead and jump into the questions and just have a good time for about 30 minutes, man.
Yeah, that's cool. As he rightly said, my name's Carvalho, based in Birmingham, UK.
Yeah.
Singer-songwriter, musician. I've got some new music out now, which is available on all digital outlets. Album called Watermelon Smiles for all of the Oso Lounge listeners to listen to, and as usual, to make their own minds and everything else.
Mm-hmm. And that fury is fire.
Thank you.
Is fire, man. So when I was listening to it, I was just like, Carvalho's coming kind of like from a biblical standpoint. I'm like, dang, you getting kind of like subliminal messages within the fire of the music. I was like, yo, that's hot. I like that, man.
Yeah. Wow. I wouldn't say biblical, but I understand what you're saying.
Right.
I mean, like, I can explain. I must explain the whole inspiration behind the title of the album. I mean, Watermelon Smiles is from is something. As we know, watermelon is a stereotype when it's concerning with regards to black people, or the African diaspora. So the title Watermelon Smiles was something that was used by somebody who is involved in politics in the UK. It was used to describe some African children. I can't remember the exact quote, but when I heard it, I was just like, whoa, this is interesting because somebody actually contacted me and asked me why I actually called the album Watermelon Smiles, and I explained to them because this person was quite upset. But then I had to clarify it and kind of not necessarily break it down, but I'm coming from the angle, okay, so the stereotype is watermelon smiles, but I'm telling the story behind those smiles, which isn't just like one kind of, there's this thing of where it concerns the African diaspora globally, that we have the onus on oppression, which isn't the case. And it's kind of like throughout the album, basically the whole purpose of me writing the album was, it was for me, selfishly, first and foremost, it was for me. It was to purge myself of these thoughts in search of answers. And I still, as you know, you never stop asking questions. Yeah. It's good to ask questions. And I've answered it in part for myself. However, there's more to come. There's more to come where it's for me, that album sets precedent for further musical projects with regards to basically getting back to the roots, of our music, because I think sometimes I'm fortunate enough that I am independent. I'm going to stop talking in a minute, because it's allowed me to express myself without restrictions, without thinking, well, if I deliver this to somebody else, they're not going to like it, and then it has to go through the process of possibly being rejected because of the lyrical content, and as you mentioned, the subliminal blah blah blah. Which, do you know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying? In other words, it's not sellable. However, first and foremost, I think just like every artist, regardless of their background out there, as we know, music is a form of self-expression. So, that's my premise. But I think, having said that, though, I think there's it's more than just a song and a dance, as you probably gathered. I'd like to believe that I'm making myself think first and foremost. people receive things however they want to receive things.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
But that, just like you said, when that person was upset, we're trying to figure out what's your angle with Watermelon Smiles, and it was kind of like, yo, this is my therapy. I'm kind of just, I'm
Yeah.
release right now, so just
Yeah.
entertain, my moment. And I guess some folks just want to put you in the box. And for those of you watching this video, me and Carvalho go back some ways, and I remember connecting with you on social media. I don't know if it was SoundCloud or if it was Twitter, and it wasn't the Watermelon. It was a couple of albums back.
Yeah.
Like, yo, I feel you, man. This was the album before you started doing your T-shirts.
Oh, right. Okay. All the things you know to be true. Yeah.
So anyway, I was like, yo, I'm digging your flow. And so we went back and forth on social media. And I was just like, yo, man, I would love to play some of your stuff on Also Lines. And he was like, sure, boom, bam, it's already there. And I was like, dang, this brother is on it. And so as he continued to do music, I would always listen to it. And I'm just like, yo, I mean, truly an eclectic vibe, but everything. You have your own band, don't you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I did have. At the moment, I'm kind of like enjoying the, what's the word? The
lockdown.
Yeah, the lockdown. No, what's the word? I'm enjoying the solitary of having to create on my own. It's
solitary confinement in a sense. Yeah.
I play more than one instrument anyway, so it's not something that's hard for me. However, I have got kind of like, I'm involved with some other musicians in a side project that is totally separate from this. At some stage, I will get a band back together to promote and hopefully, to tour the music and get it out there to the public, because obviously it helps it validates the recording, and people can see for yourself even more so and get a bigger picture of what of what I'm about.
For sure.
So
we definitely got to work on getting you out here to the US, man.
Yeah.
Before kind of pre-COVID-19, you were in the process of, coming to the US, doing some
there was
tour dates. So I'm sorry, Carvalho, I just kind of jumped right into your music because I was just so excited to connect with you. But how have you been coping with this time of lockdown during, the coronavirus? And, how is this, how has life been for the last few weeks, last month?
Yeah, well, very fortunate, to be honest, because where I reside with my, my family, my wife and the children, we don't live in an area that's in a city. We're not in the inner city. It's very similar to like where you are.
Okay.
There's a lot of openness, able to leave the house, to chill. So, but I'm also very aware of what I'm pretty sure you are as well. That's not the case for everybody.
Right.
Those people who are living in dense areas and stuff within the UK are feeling it. And again, it goes back to those people who, from what I'm gathering, it's the same kind of like situation in the States where the people who are dropping off, aren't white people, and it's the same here. Right. That's the data, and that's the reports. I wish I was making it up, but I'm not. Right. And that's a grave concern. That's an issue. And that's
it's a little different here in the States because a lot of us are leaving or passing away. And I know at the beginning it was we have a morning show out here called Ricky Smiley Morning Show. He was on. It's a doctor that comes on. Dr. Collier comes on there on the regular, and he was giving us feedback and letting us know that yes, we are getting it. I mean, because I think the first time that we really found out, because I fell prey to that feeling that, okay, we can't get it. And then when Idris Elba got it,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was like, whoa. And so a lot of folks were saying, okay, it's a hoax, they're paying folks. And I was
Mhm.
like, why are we wasting our time thinking somebody's paying these folks just to say this? This is real. So,
Yeah, it is. It is. It's very
but,
real.
but I
Um,
think just in me talking with other artists, because this is five. I think this is five. And the
wow.
artists that I talked to up to this point, they've this kind of it's hurting their pocketbook, but they're
Yeah.
grateful that they're still alive. But
Yeah.
it's taking them off the road. Some of
Yeah.
them were in the middle of tours. Some
Mhm.
of them were in the process of just bringing out books, and so it's a
Mm.
thing of they're confined to their house, but they're just taking advantage of family time and just
Yeah. But
finding
yeah,
ways to
definitely.
maximize their
Yeah.
creativity.
Yeah. I mean, that's um, the irony of this situation to me is that some people, like, when they have to work
Mm-hmm.
really hard, and I think because this situation has come upon humanity in the manner that it has,
Right,
having to down tools has been very hard for some people.
right, right.
In fact, some of the things that I'm hearing is because of the downtime, it's created anxiety because some people don't know how to relax.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? So then, some people are anxious, and to me, it's kind of like, you shouldn't be anxious because, there's things happen for a reason,
Right.
and humanity needs to slow down and
Yeah.
take stock. We can't continue going around on this wheel, and some of us have more than one job.
Right. But
Do you know what I'm saying?
it's hard though. I mean,
It is hard. It
yeah.
is hard because the truth of the matter is that we are the system,
Right.
because
Right.
we keep it going, we maintain it, and
Right.
obviously, heads of government, they know this. So, and at the same time, I think it's apparent for them that hopefully people are realizing that we are watching them
Right.
in terms of how they respond to us, in terms of our health, etc., and in terms of the care that we receive.
Right.
Because I think at the moment, the impression that I get is that the UK government, they're more interested in the economic side of it, and
Same here in the US. It's the
yeah,
same.
I do. However, I think I
It's a money
understand
thing.
it. Yeah, of course. But
Yeah.
that's the thing. This is the real test for humanity, because
Right.
it shows that what's more precious is money. Is it money, or is it human life?
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? And it's a real test. It's a test of values,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly, ethics, integrity, as you just said.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. It's very interesting times, and when I say interesting, I don't mean like as in let's do some research, let's open up a book. It's
Right.
human behaviour.
Right.
That's what I'm watching very carefully, including my own.
Right. Exactly. So what else? So what? Tell me. That's deep though. So, but I'm wondering, how, when you're in your artistry or your artist circle, when you're talking to your other artist friends, what kind of plans, or what do y'all discuss? How do we bounce back? What do we need to do online? Well, what are some of the
Yeah, I'm a music teacher,
yeah,
so at the moment the schools are obviously aren't functioning. The students aren't in, and obviously we're both aware of the situation.
right,
So, and I'm aware of a lot of the music venues here are going into receivership.
right.
Yeah, that's how serious it is. I don't know what. I believe the government are trying to get some form of strategy together, or some form of plan to kind of get the money to support the industry,
Right.
et cetera. Because the music industry is, I can't remember. It's up there in terms of what it gives to society in terms of like it's not far from like in the table of what it gives financially. I'm trying
force back into the country. I know what you mean.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of like how food and all of that imports.
Yeah,
I got you.
Yeah, it's an important commodity. So therefore, they cannot let it slide. It's the arts in general. It's not just music. It's drama, as you mentioned, publishing of books. They can't afford to let it slide because it's that side of society that gives people relief.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? That gives some form of enjoyment, entertainment, and so forth. But yeah, I think for the musicians that I know, I think, like, I can only speak for myself. I'm just taking stock.
Okay.
My third album is written in my head.
Right. Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm sorry. We kind of went on a tangent, so I want to bring it back to Carvalho. This is your time. Let's talk about some of the other ventures you have. I mean, because I know way back in the day you were doing the T-shirts. You got Watermelon Smile. I mean, any other projects that you're currently working on right now? You said you got your third album. Tell me about some other things that you got going during this time. I mean, because this is your time.
Yeah. I mean, I've got I wrote an album for a friend of mine who's based in Denmark.
Okay.
This was a while back, but he's beginning to demo the songs for it. It's a reggae album. It's a straight ahead reggae album. Yeah. Okay. So he's working through songs, and I'll have that to mix once all that's completed. Okay. And then it has to be mastered and then released and everything else.
Congrats.
Thank you. I mean, I've released some other projects with some artists based in the UK.
Right.
I mean, to be honest with you, I'm just kind of like, from going back to like myself, I think it's really, really nice because now I can, music-wise, I can delve into kind of like improving various areas where I feel there's weaknesses.
Just honing your craft.
Yeah, basically. Because there's a side of me, I think once you think you know kind of everything, but you don't, that's kind of like I have that fault. But having said that, though, I'm on the ball. I'm on it. I know that for a fact, and I don't say that to be conceited. Right. Do you know what I'm saying? There's always room for improvement. But yeah.
But how is it that you have? I mean, when you say you're honing your craft, how many instruments do you know? Because I know you know quite a few.
Yeah, I play guitar, bass, flute, keyboards, percussion. Play a little bit of drums as well. Yeah, but it's nice though. It's nice because I know people who are fortunate, like myself, to have that skill set. Yeah. So that's why I can confidently work on my own, and I'm not having to. And I don't, and create. But having said that, though, as we know, music is communal, and that's why I don't. Yeah, exactly. I don't rule out getting a band back together because you can't. What's the word? You can't kind of like capture that kind of vibe when from one person. It takes a team of people, and everybody's got different like feels and vibes, and you bring it all together and you arrange it all and you structure it all. That's the ultimate, to be truthful. Not one person. Children, don't work on your own.
And I'm gonna come back to that because I'm gonna ask
you. It's always healthy.
Yeah. Man. So during this time, you're practicing on all of those instruments? You have all those instruments in the house?
Yeah. Well, not in the house. I've got like a studio in the back garden.
Studio.
Yeah. Okay. So as much, my main, I would say my main instrument out of all of those instruments is the bass guitar. But I do play on the album. It's everything is me.
Man, what?
Yeah,
That's
everything me, include right down
man.
in production, arrangement. It's all me.
Okay, so but everything is dope. I mean, the production is tight, and I'm just like, yo, for the longest, I was just thinking, okay, this is a nice band. But now that you're telling me this is all
Yeah,
you, I'm like,
yeah,
yo, that's crazy. That's
yeah.
insane.
It's for me.
That's what.
Yeah, but having said that though, it's going back to what I was saying before about working on your own. I'm going to contradict myself. I enjoyed the process.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a challenge. I think to have that concept of like watermelon smiles and stuff, that was a very challenging title to have.
Right.
Because having to think through the stages of how it's going to progress, the stories, and how it's going to end and everything else.
Right.
I mean, halfway through, I'm going to be honest with you, halfway through I had to change. Right. Because it was too heart-wrenching. It was too close to home. So right. I had to change the lyrical potency of the journey. And I don't regret that. Right. Because as you know, as humans, we are emotional beings. So I had to kind of like hold back on some of that, but all of that will filter out again,
right?
Or into the next project,
right,
as well.
So how would because all your music I dig, and everything could be played on also.
Thank you.
I wanted to know what in your mind. What would you categorize your music, or would you even categorize your music in any genre? Would you? I know it's just good music, but if you had to pick one, what would you say?
I'd say the foundation is R&B and soul. Maybe it's not typical of the R&B and the soul that some listeners are used to. Mm-hmm. It's the foundation R&B and soul, but because when I was growing up and then we grew up in a household not just listening to one genre of music, right. For me to just to stick to one would be weird because of my influences.
Your listeners, because you got a broad taste for music, or not a taste for music, but your experience is so much broader than R&B. So if you because I feel like the music that you play, when I play it on Also Lounge or when I just hear it, it stretches the borders of R&B or reggae, because so many listeners, they just want to listen to one thing, but they you got to get outside of that. So
definitely.
I commend you for that.
No, thank you. It's sometimes I have to kind of like hone it in terms of the genre thing, because I've heard because of marketing, mm-hmm. You just mentioned how would you what would you call it?
Right.
It's music.
Good music.
But but as you asked me the question about putting a label on it and everything. For me, kind of like the music of the African diaspora. That's the reason why that's one of the reasons why I do what I do. And I'm going to get deeper into that as well, because the root, as we know, is Africa itself. Right. And it's like my personal journey is heading back there. Okay. You may get an album full of just percussion, because that's where initially that's where everything stemmed from. Yeah. So that's where my mind is set. And then the other flip side of that is jazz. I'm very heavily into jazz, and I used to hear a lot of it when we were growing up, and that's something that has helped me in my musicianship a great deal as well. Do you know what I'm saying? It helps you. What do they say? Jazz is the teacher, funk is the preacher.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? So exactly.
But I hear it in your music, man, because just some of those licks, and I'm just like, man, he's been digging into them jazz crates. But you could just hear it in your music, and so that's awesome to hear. And so, what drives you as far as your creativity, and where do you I mean, like, is there certain artists you glean from, or you know?
Yeah, there's oh wow, there's a lot. There's a in terms of kind of uh oh, there's a saxophonist who's really popular at the moment. From America, and his name's just left me, but I'll state some of the obvious ones. People like Miles Davis, John Coltrane. With regards to like soul artists, if that's the right term, Bilal. Have you heard of Bilal?
Yeah,
Bilal.
Artist, yes.
Female-wise, we're talking about the usual: Erykah Badu, Jill Scott, India Ari. You know, I'm not. I have to be careful because I can be quite precious about my music, but you know, a lot of the artists that I've listed that have inspired me have something to say in their music, and it's of substance, something that will benefit society, hopefully, and you know, make us as humanity think. And I think Miles Davis has definitely done that for me. John Coltrane has done that. Elements of Bilal, D'Angelo, obviously. You know, all the heavyweights, even of the, you know, the Earth, Wind and Fire, Curtis Mayfield, Gil Scott Heron. Yeah, too numerous to mention. Even though, you know, there are some current artists now, but I feel that music has become kind of, it's blatantly there to make, people are being marketed, obviously, to sell and to make money. There's not, as you mentioned, the word integrity. I'm not saying those artists lack integrity, but I don't think some of them really understand what they're doing and why they're doing it for. Do you know what I'm saying? What are they leaving behind? Because we don't live forever. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like Bob Marley died when he was 36, but his music has transcended space and time.
Exactly. And so,
you know, so it's for me, I don't want to like sound all serious and everything, but music is a serious art form. You take away the money, and the financial aspect out of it, and you know, it's we're talking about vibrations that reach people. You know, in reggae music, they have the saying, you know, it's word, sound, and power. You know, it's there. It's ultimate. It should be there to elevate people, as opposed as not just an entertainment side of things. That's not to say that you don't want people to dance. Of course you do. You know, but you want people something to chew on as well.
I think you do that in your music, because when you really listen to it beyond, and I have to be honest, when I hear some of your music and I'm just caught up in a beat, and then I hear it again, maybe 3 or 4 times down, I'm listening to the lyrics and I'm like, yo, Carvalho's saying some deep stuff here. Whoa. You know, and so forgive me, that's just my makeup. And so to come with the consciousness that you do, it's appreciated. I mean, it's just a thing of, it's not a lot of artists, like you said, some are just doing it for the sing and dance and, okay, give me my money. But some of the artists, you know, like the Kendrick Lamars of the world, of the world, even though that's just one genre, hip hop, it's still a conscious effort of what I talk about is still going to be uplifting, but yet entertaining at the same time. So if you're bobbing your head, I'm going to give you some nuggets and take that, and you think about it, and you're like, yo, that's dope.
And plus as well, that's not an easy thing to do. As well, to have like that balance of kind of like substantial lyrical content and a fat beat behind that. Not everybody can do that, and I'm not implying that I can do it either. I'm just saying it's you know, it's like
it's a gift.
It is. You know, but it's a gift that you need to work on.
Gotta hone your craft.
And just, you know, just basically be creative and stay focused and understand what you're doing and why you're doing it.
For those of y'all watching this video, bear with us. I had some technical difficulties and it kind of bleeped out, and I'm having my moment now. So Carvalho is so calm under pressure. I'm trying to get there. So bear with us. But thank y'all for watching this video. And Carvalho, I just wanted to ask you one more. First of all, thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Talking to me here in the U.S., while you're in the U.K. One more question that I like asking a lot of the artists that I deal with. You've been in the game for many years, doing your thing, and you're doing it independently, and I commend you for that, because a lot of if you do it independently and be successful, you reap all of the benefits from it, not having to pay the label and all of that nonsense. Me coming into business, I know that side of the game. If you see, and I know that you're dealing with artists, young aspiring artists, what is that those nuggets or those one or two things that you would share with them that I kind of call it like reach one, teach one? What would be that you would tell those aspiring artists?
Yeah, I would say from my experience, I would say become as independent as possible. If you are signed to a label, it's only for a season.
Right.
And obviously it depends on how many units you sell, because when you sign to a label, as you're probably aware that the money that you're given at the advance is basically a loan, and you have to make that money back.
Right.
And if you don't make that money back, then it's goodbye. It's the end of your contract. The thing is, though, my nugget is being dependent. So if you do sign to a label, whatever happens, you've got your resources. You can continue to create. And I think in this current climate with the internet, etc., you're able to get distribution, your website. Right. There's so much that you can do for yourself. And because you probably understand yourself better than a label, you can market yourself in the way that you deem appropriate to you. Do you know what I'm saying? That's where the real power lies.
Yes. So that's what you leave them with. Well, hey, that is a mouthful there. I mean, because hey, if you share that to them. No, but I'm serious. I mean, if you share that to an independent artist that are young and they're wanting to be where you are, and you just say, hey, look, if you're independent, stay independent, but you got to grind. And I think a lot of times what I've seen and I've experienced, and that's good information, a lot of times the artists come into it and they think it's easy. They think once I get a deal, it's time to chill. And the money that you were talking about needs to be recouped. Yeah, they may give you a front end loan, but that needs to be recouped in record sales. So, they may give you 100,000, but guess what? Your album better sell 100,000.
That's right, precisely.
1 penny. So you can at least make 1 penny of a profit. Because if you don't, like you said, they're gonna be saying, "Hey, it's nice to know you, but we're gonna shelf you for a little while." I mean, they're not gonna tell you that, but
it's true.
But you're gonna be wondering why your album not coming out. So that's good info. So, but hey, Carvalho, I appreciate this time you took out once again. Let us know before we jump off, how anybody can reach you, in the social sphere, and follow you. And then I'm also going to put it on here as well.
Okay, so you can get me on Instagram, and that's just Instagram/BassheadDread. I don't use my surname because Carvalho is a very common surname, as I found out when I was setting all this up. However, on Facebook, it's facebook.com/Carvalho. That's my fan page. Fans, yes, I have fans. Independent artists do have fans. And we do shift some units as well.
Yes.
And on Twitter, it's twitter.com BassheadDread. You'll find me. So, just check out the music. And the music, the current album is Watermelon Smiles, and that's available on all digital outlets.
Yes.
There was a single called Some of Them, which was released last year. Let's see, September of last year.
Yes.
That's also available on all digital outlets. You know, again, all my music from 2013 onwards, it's all available online. Go and check me out.
Yes. And so for you guys watching this video on YouTube, you can go to osolounge.com. I will also put links to Carvalho's music, whether it be on iTunes or, you know, the different social platforms. All of that will be on osolounge.com. But as you just heard from Carvalho, he can be reached. Pick up some of his music and you'll be blessed that you purchase some of his music, because I'm just telling you, you could just vibe out. During this time of quarantine and chill, you need some great music. And I recommend picking up Rob Carvalho's music because it'll get you through. Just great music therapy. So,
thank you, man. Thanks for having me.
Hey, thank you for coming on, man. And I know that there's a huge time difference, and I know that family is waiting for you to jump off of this so you can, you know, enjoy the rest of this weekend and chill. So, hey, man, just thank you for taking this time out. And you have an awesome rest of the weekend out there in the UK. And pleasure having